All right, let's take a look at it. It says solve sine theta equals sine of 2 theta. And yeah, it's certainly, sometimes when I solve a problem, let's say you're doing it different than the key, or doing it exactly like the key is, it happens. All right, let me just write this down. I'm going to put down sine theta. Now, if I were looking at this thing over here, I'd say one of my problems is I got a double angle formula there. I want to write this down. So it's going to be 2 sine theta cosine theta. Now, I want to warn you against dividing both sides by sine theta. I wouldn't be dividing by variables unless you're absolutely certain it's not trouble. And I would say if you're not absolutely certain, do not divide by variable factors. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to solve it for 0. And what do you get? 2 sine theta cosine theta minus sine theta. And then I'm going to factor it. A sine comes out. And we left off with 2 cosine theta minus 1. I'm going to use the 0 product rule. And the first thing I do is I say sine of theta is equal to 0. Well, if you look at a picture of the sine function, it looks like this. And it goes on forever, by the way. And I get an infinite number of zeros, but they just want me to stick between pi and 2 pi. All right? So we're here, and we're going up there, but we're not touching 2 pi. So you only got one of them. And what's that going to be? When theta equals pi. I'll write that down for you. All right? Let's move on to the next one. And the next one is, when does that equal 0? Well, that equals 0 when the cosine of theta is going to be 1 over 2. Let me draw a picture of the cosine curve. Cosine curve looks like this over here. And again, I want to point out we're just between pi and 2 pi. And I got to figure out when it's a half. And looking at it, it only occurs over here. Now, someone says, I wonder where that is. Well, it's in the 4th quadrant, right? So I know I can get a ratio there that does that. And I just want to remind you, I'm looking at a triangle that looks sort of like this over here. We'll talk about the reference in a second to root 3. This is 60 degrees, all right? Again, we're in the 4th quadrant. And a reference of 60 degrees, let's see, if you're in the 4th quadrant, back away from 360 by 60, you're at 300 degrees, all right? Let me write down radian measure, and that's going to be pi over 180 degrees. I'm going to divide by 60. What do you get over here? 60 degrees, I'm sorry. 5 pi. Again, I'm dividing by 60 degrees over 3. So we have 2 answers. The answers are going to be as follows. Pi, that's one answer. The other answer is 5 pi over 3. Again, my recommendation is look at the answer key to make sure those answers are listed for you. That pi is being listed and 5 pi over 3. Thank you.